So it has finally happened. I have reached the last page of my sketchbook, and in case you haven't noticed, I've kind of been procrastinating on it a little bit, because these past few videos I was just approaching the last page of my sketchbook, and then I went all the way back to the tugboat page, and I didn't really know what to draw for this last page. So I figured, why not go back to the very beginning of the sketchbook and draw what I did on the cover and the first page. So I'm going to be drawing those two characters today with Posca Pens, just like I did for that video. And this kind of made me realize how much I just haven't used Posca Pens since then. I don't think I really used them after that, so I was a little bit nervous because I remember being really impatient with the Posca Pens, and that kind of affected my drawing sometimes, because they're paint pens, so they're gonna act like paint at certain points, so I'm gonna need to wait at certain times, and I'm like, I don't want to wait. That's why I use alcohol markers, because the alcohol markers are quicker and easier, but I was like, you know what, I might as well use them. I still have them around, so I'm just going to use them. And for this sketch, I decided to have them both on the same page. I didn't really do that for the first page and the cover, but I decided it's the last page, might as well. And just had them standing, not really back to back, but sort of. So I started erasing the sketch that I had, but then I realized it's paint, so it would be at least somewhat opaque, and if it's not, I can do multiple layers of it. So that made me feel a little bit annoyed because I realized I didn't need to do what I just did. So thankfully I didn't do it for the girl on the right. I just realized I didn't give either of them names. So let me know in the comments down below, what do you think their name should be? But yeah, the girl on the right, I did have her as like an elf girl, I think originally, so I decided to keep the ears and her fire powers. And for the girl on the left, I realized I wasn't quite sure what her hairstyle was supposed to be, because I wasn't sure if it was like a half down, half bun hairstyle, or if it was just meant to be entirely just a bun. But there were highlights at the bottom, so it led me to assume that there was hair not in the bun, just hanging down, so I just did it as like a some hair was down, some hair was in a bun type of thing, just based on the way the highlights were for the original. So here I am just kind of fixing some of the paint that I did originally. I was going into some of the line art for certain aspects of the drawing, but then I realized that some of it wasn't entirely dry yet, as you can see with the detailing on the girl's shirt, because I was trying to start with the yellow, but then I realized I put way too much pink paint there, so now that isn't entirely dry. So I just moved on to everything else. I also gave the girl on the right highlights, because the girl on the left I always gave highlights, but I never gave the girl on the right highlights, so I was like, you know what, I might as well give her highlights, because it seemed weird to have them on the same page and not have both of them have highlights. So I just went ahead and did that. I also fixed the girl on the right's eyes, because the eyes and the mouths annoyed me for a while, because I only have one size of Posca pen, so it was either going to be that width or nothing. I can't go smaller than that. So I had to fix it a lot with white or yellow to try to fix like the noses and the smiles and things like that. Thankfully, the eyebrows were fine. It was mainly just the eyes and mouths that annoyed me the most. Like, the girl on the left's mouth, I feel like I had to fix that so many times. But it got to a place where I was at least somewhat happy with it by the end of it. The girl on the right, I actually feel like she was really easy, which is weird, because I feel like for the original, I spent quite a lot of time on her. But, yeah, I really liked how she turned out in the end. And especially with her eyes. Her eyes looked really nice. The girl on the left, I spent so much time on her face, and it kind of annoyed me how much time I was spending, but in the end, it's just got to a place where I was happy with it. And for the pants, I decided to change the way I drew the girl on the left's pants, because I did some blending thing which isn't that bad. I actually like that sort of blending style with Posca Pens. But that was the only place where I did that blending style with Posca Pens. So it feels kind of weird to just have that one blending style where you do some dark blue in the light blue area and some light blue in the dark blue area if you're just going to do it there and nowhere else. So I was like, might as well keep it somewhat cartoony in that same style of line art everywhere, but still keeping it similar to the original. I decided to make the skirt and pants outlined in dark blue, and did some slight shading for the back. So then I moved on to line art once I was done with everything. I kind of did it the opposite of the way I do it with alcohol markers, because again, this is paint, and I felt like if I did the line art first, which I feel like I might have did with the original, then it might look a little wonky with the way the line art is, because the line art will just be run over by the paint and whatever else I'm doing. So I did the line art last, so that way the line art wouldn't be out of place or very thin in some areas or almost unnoticeable, and then other areas is just super thick for no reason. And then I did some lighting, because I realized for the original, I didn't do any lighting to show that the fire was actually fire, so I decided to do a little bit of that for the girl on the right, and then I decided to keep it that way because I did not want her to be ruined. I didn't want to ruin the drawing by going any further, so I just decided to write the date and be done with it. So with that, that concludes the end of Sketchbook 4. Yeah, it took a year or two, but we got there, and now it's time for Sketchbook 5. Oh boy.